Caitlin Clark comes in and is immediately the biggest star in the league. Immediately.
Why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person.
Chicago Sky have had an extremely disappointing 2025 season. I'm telling you right now, it was horrible.
Tonight, the triumphant return of the product herself, Angel Reese.
Last night wasn't just another WNBA game. It was supposed to be the glorious homecoming of Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed product, the player who told the world she was one of the reasons people watch women's basketball. But instead of a triumphant return, it turned into an absolute nightmare on live television. Chicago Sky fans, already fed up with one of the most disappointing seasons in franchise history, didn't exactly roll out the red carpet. They handed Reese something every athlete fears most: rejection. Nearly 3,000 empty seats screamed louder than any applause, and when the camera zoomed in, you could feel the awkward silence cutting through the entire arena. Her big comeback moment, meant to be a celebration, collapsed into a viral disaster, and it got even worse when a single question at the press conference left her stunned, exposed, and instantly trending for all the wrong reasons. The Chicago Sky's 2025 season has already been one long roller coaster of frustration losses piling up, fans walking away, and headlines painting a team in crisis. So when Angel Reese finally stepped back onto the court, it should have been a spark, a moment to remind everyone why she once called herself a face of the sport. But what unfolded was the opposite. The arena felt hollow, the energy drained, and the fan base that once screamed her name seemed more restless than supportive. And then came the press conference, the moment that flipped everything. A reporter asked a simple question, one she should have been ready for. Do you still stand by last year's statement that people watch women's basketball because of you too? Instead of an explanation, instead of showing confidence, she froze and dropped just 2 words: next question. The silence after that answer told the story louder than anything else. That tiny dodge, those 2 little words, hit harder than any highlight reel, because in that instant, the entire narrative flipped. Fans didn't hear confidence, they heard doubt. Reporters didn't see a star, they saw someone ducking her own words. And within minutes, clips of that exchange exploded online. Twitter threads, Instagram reels, TikTok memes everywhere you looked. Angel Reese wasn't trending for her performance on the court. She was trending for avoiding the very spotlight she once demanded. And the brutal part? The timing couldn't have been worse, because right now, Caitlin Clark is rewriting the script of women's basketball in real time. Every seat filled, every jersey sold, every national broadcast centered on her. And suddenly, Angel's next question moment wasn't just an awkward dodge, it became a symbol of the widening gap between talk and traction, between what's promised and what's proven. And here's why it stings even more, because this wasn't just some random reporter fishing for clicks. This was Angel Reese's own words from last year, boomeranging back to hit her head on. Remember after LSU's championship run, when she was locked in that heated rivalry with Caitlin Clark? She didn't just celebrate the win, she told the world flat out, "People watch women's basketball because of me too." It was bold, it was loud, and it instantly went viral. At the time, it felt like a queen planting her flag on top of the mountain. But here's the thing about bold claims. They don't just vanish, they hang in the air, waiting to be tested. And in 2025, the receipts are stacked against her. Chicago Sky's attendance numbers keep slipping, while Indiana Fever games with Clark are breaking records every single night. That's not just a comparison, it's a direct reality check. Last year, Chicago Sky home games hovered around 8,000 fans, a respectable number but nowhere near superstar territory. Meanwhile, in Indiana, every single game featuring Caitlin Clark turned into a sellout. Gainbridge Fieldhouse bursting with more than 17,000 people night after night. And then comes the crushing detail. Angel Reese's so-called big return barely pulled in 6,000, not even half the arena filled when she stepped back onto her old LSU stomping grounds. Think about that, her home crowd, the same people who built her brand and crowned her a champion, couldn't even pack the building. That's not star power, that's a wake-up call. So when that reporter asked her if she still believed she was one of the main reasons people watched the game, the entire league held its breath. It was her chance to reclaim the throne, but instead she passed. Next question. And with that, the perception shifted from bold leader to someone avoiding her own shadow. And that single dodge cracked the door wide open. Within hours, clips of the press conference were everywhere on highlight shows, on YouTube Reels, in endless memes, and the reaction wasn't anger, it was disappointment. Fans didn't feel inspired, they felt let down. Chicago Sky supporters weren't booing her, they were quietly saying, talk less, show more. Because here's the truth, when you make a claim as big as being the reason people watch women's basketball, the public won't just measure you by points and rebounds. They'll measure you by ticket sales, television ratings, jersey numbers, and whether the arena feels alive. And right now, Caitlin Clark is destroying every one of those categories, setting new records every single week, while Angel Reese is left fighting a battle with numbers she can't control. That's why those two words, next question, landed like a gut punch. They confirmed what so many were already whispering. Maybe the hype doesn't match the reality. Because, let's be honest, Caitlin Clark doesn't need to remind anyone she's a star. The proof is everywhere. 15,000-seat arenas sold out in under an hour. Jerseys flying off shelves until she's ranked second only to Steph Curry himself. And 41 of 44 Fever games broadcast nationally. That's not hype. That's history being written in real time. The league is literally moving games to bigger arenas just to fit the demand. And that's the kind of pull you can't fake. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's silence at that podium exposed the brutal gap while Clark is pulling celebrities, million-dollar deals, and turning every game into an event. Reese is staring at empty rows and a spotlight that feels heavier with every dodge. And the harshest part, fans notice. They see the contrast, they compare the energy, and they don't forgive missed moments when the receipts are this obvious. And that's exactly why this press conference exploded far beyond basketball. It wasn't just about a question, it was about what the answer revealed. Angel Reese once declared she was a reason the sport was thriving, but now those words are being measured against half-empty arenas, flat merchandise sales, and a spotlight that feels dimmer every week. Fans don't hate her, they just feel the disconnect. They want to believe in her, but when they see her dodging the very conversation she created, it chips away at the trust. Contrast that with Caitlin Clark, who doesn't even need to say a word. Every packed stadium, every sold-out jersey, every national headline speaks for her. And when the cameras cut those two realities side by side, the difference couldn't be clearer. For Reese, next question wasn't just a deflection, it was the sound of the narrative slipping out of her control. And the numbers make the contrast impossible to ignore. Chicago Sky versus Minnesota Lynx. Barely 4,600 fans showed up for Chicago, while Minnesota, a smaller market with less national spotlight, pulled in thousands more on the same night. Those aren't superstar numbers, those are Tuesday night in February numbers, the kind you scroll past without a second thought. And that's the dagger, because when you've told the world people watch women's basketball because of you too, those stats hit harder than any trash talk. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is doing the exact opposite. Her games feel like cultural events, ticket prices hitting NBA levels, and her jersey sales outpacing entire veteran rosters. The more you compare, the more Reese's next question moment becomes a symbol of a bigger truth. The hype is fragile, the spotlight is shrinking, and unless she finds a way to flip the script, the gap between her and Clark is only getting wider. So here's the reality, words are easy, but numbers never lie. Angel Reese can remind the world of her championships, her energy, her role in building storylines, but if the seats are empty and the cameras don't follow, the hype can't survive. That next question moment wasn't just a dodge, it was a turning point, proof that confidence alone can't carry a franchise. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is turning every court into a stage, every appearance into a record, and every headline into proof that she doesn't need to talk, she just delivers. And that's why this story matters. Because the WNBA isn't just about who can win games, it's about who can truly move the culture forward. Right now, Clark is dragging the sport into a new era, while Reese is left chasing a spotlight that feels further away with every press conference. For Angel Reese, the challenge is simple but brutal: talk less, prove more. Until then, next question will follow her like a shadow. At the end of the day, this isn't about one press conference or one awkward answer. It's about what that moment revealed. Angel Reese wanted to be seen as a face of the game, but faces are only remembered when the numbers back it up. Empty seats, flat energy, and a single dodge on live television exposed a gap she can't afford to ignore. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark isn't even chasing the spotlight. She's creating it every ticket sold, every jersey bought, every national broadcast, proving she's the one reshaping women's basketball in real time. And that's the brutal truth. Reese is fighting perception, Clark is rewriting reality. Until Angel finds a way to turn bold words into undeniable results, next question won't just be a response, it'll be the headline that defines her season.